sheep to the slaughter.
What was stepping onto this show like? Were you happy about it the whole time? Were you like, oh, I'm on a kid's show, what is this?
Yeah, it was quite funny because I came, when the first audition I did for this little twit thing was, I walked into a room full of actors from every television show you'd ever seen, and I'm talking about major actors, and I went, what the fuck am I doing? It was like, I hadn't done television. I mean, I'm an actor on screen. Television wasn't my thing, so I was like, okay. I got invited back for a second audition, and there was half the amount of people, plus me, and I'm still going, what am I doing here? And I had one ally, a man called Koichi, who happened to be our director and producer, and I'd done a film with him over in Ireland. And I got asked to come back for one last audition, and there was 4 people. I was one of them. I did the audition and left, and while I was doing this, by the way, I was flying backwards and forwards from the city of Sin, because I was working there doing a TV show. Oh yeah, I did do TV shows. But I was never on TV. I was just doing it in front of a camera, and then they put it on. But I didn't really take a lot of interest, and I'm not being mean. I really didn't think I would get it because I wasn't a television actor. And then they asked me to come back because the executive producer had the flu, I think, and he wasn't at the audition, so he hadn't seen me, and I had to come back and do an audition on my own. And Koichi's sitting there, and I walked through the door, and I was like, huh? And he said, you're nearly there, do it right. And I thought, do I really want to? So I did my audition, and lo and behold, they rang me while I was in the city of Sin and said, come back, you've got the role. I didn't really know how to approach it. It was an interesting thing for me because they were all kids. They weren't, I was an adult and they were like younger than me, and there's all these rules you have to abide by. So I threw them out and went, I'm just going to do this like I'd do any other show. But the funny thing was, I was walking across the set the first morning that I was ever on the scene, and this door to a caravan opened and this girl came hurtling out, threw herself on me and said, who are you? And I went, I think I'm the guy that kills your boyfriend. And she just looked at me and went, I don't like you. And then went back into her caravan, and from that moment to this day, we have been the greatest friends God ever made in this world, because I adore her perfectly, love her to bits. And she, it got to the point where people thought that she may have been my daughter. I don't give a shit. I got into this, I took this thing, once I started doing the show, everybody was just so amazing, except for the Black Ranger, who was a pain in the ass to everybody. But everybody else was just so amazing.
It's Quantum, I was red and black.
Okay, you were half a pain in the ass. So it was just an amazing, amazing show. I did a lot of things, as you know, in the show with Erin. They seemed to get us together all the time, like always, it's you again. And it was like, I'm going to take you down. Oh, good God. But it was fun, and I loved it. And they got me to do things I would never do in real life, like wear a tutu. But when we were talking about the show, it was different in the fact that they had 2 actors who were established. And so they started writing scripts that were much more actor inclined for the whole cast. So we all got to do things, and one of the ones I loved was when my daughter was in love with Wanker up here. And I had to keep telling them they could kill
look at me. Why would anyone want to break up with me? That's the line from the movie.
It was a lot of fun. Anyway, what I meant to say was I had 12 months of joy with this pack of lunatics, and every one of them was a pleasure to be with. And I would say, and I'm saying this with seriousness, out of a lot of things I've done in my life, that 12 months that I spent with these lot were probably the best on-set moments I've ever had.
You guys see how good of an actor he is? You bought that. I believe it too, man. And it shows with this group of people. It's fantastic. Deborah, the Yellow Ranger. Beautiful, beautiful Yellow Ranger.
I'm sorry to interrupt. Can we just have a quick minute for how hot Deborah Estelle Phillips is? She's not aged one day.
She was like, I'm the first one here, so I'm going to sit in the good lighting, and Erin's going to be in the back. That's not on purpose.
She moved away from me like I stunk or something.
Well, that's just
Definitely the lighting. Definitely the lighting.
I've been meaning to talk to you about that too. No, but Deborah, it's so good to have you guys here, all of you. But Deborah, what's really neat about your character, just as a fan myself from that time period, was there were a lot of moments where Tripp, for example, would get help from you physically because there were things that, and there was never a question that a female and a male character couldn't be strong. But yeah, I would say that you're probably the strongest of Power Rangers that there have been, character-wise. But is that something that you've taken with you? Do people come up to you and say that strength came from that? Because from my point of view, as not that necessarily part of the audience, what I took from that is everyone is equal in their abilities to grow and be strong. So I know it's an empowerment for the young women in the audience, but that's what I took from it.
Oh, 100%. I mean, there's strength in so many different ways other than physical.
Sorry, Dan, we'll get back to you. Rangerstop and Pop is what it's all about, you guys. These are the moments we can't do without, right? These are the reasons we come to this show.
True quantum.
Oh my, the big red. Sorry, Dan.
No. So as I was saying, strength, it doesn't necessarily have to be physical. Obviously, they casted a very tall, thin, black girl to play Katie when she was supposed to be physically strong, but Katie, she was strong in so many ways. The heart was just so big, and so yes, when people do come up to me, I get a lot with the strength, but mental strength is probably one of the biggest things I feel like today that when I do talk to people about strength, because mental strength is a huge superpower in itself, and I want to encourage anyone here goes across the board, and that it was such a blessing to play that role and take it, to today's time, and to just, incorporate, because yeah, we all need that. So yeah, mental health is a big thing. People don't talk about it a lot, but it is something that we need to check in with ourselves, have a good, strong support system on a daily basis. So yes, I've loved all of you and just all the chats that I've had, and oh, it's been empowering in itself. So thank you all for your time.
Now, my friends, we've got about 20 minutes left, which would be enough time to play this newlywed game. But I would much rather, if you were all okay with it, open it up to questions. Because I don't want to change the dynamic of this by playing a game. I would love to if you want to play a game, but I would love for the audience to get to ask you some questions, if you're okay with that. I know these fans are here for that. So if you're cool with that, we'll do that. Okay, let's go right